Good morning once again. Thank you for staying with us on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I'm Ruth Usman, and it's time for Media Lab this morning. It's 60 minutes into the 11 o'clock hour. As always, I have with me my colleague from the other side. His name is Remy Adebayo. Good morning to you. Remy is from Temple
Online.
Temple Online. Good morning, Remy. Welcome.
Good morning.
All right. So through his eyes, today we're going to try and analyze some of the stories that we have here this morning. Now, reactions has continued to trail the Plateau massacre is actually what it's being called now. Sadly so, though, as you know, we've gotten to hear so many things. Comments, condemnations from here and there on that and there on that. But it is still trending for one of these other reasons. Now, this headline said, Plateau massacre retaliation for lost 300 cows. And that statement has been attributed to the Miyetti Allah. Now, the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has described the attacks on some communities in Plateau State as an act of retaliation over the killing of 300 cows belonging to its members. Suspected herdsmen had on Saturday night through Sunday attacked Riom, Barike, Ladi, and Jos South local government areas of the state, killing over 100 persons, though the police confirmed 86. This statement came in yesterday as fresh attacks in Kui village in Riom local government area claimed one more life in the early hours despite the dusk to dawn curfew declared in the three local government areas. Now, this really is a sad incident, and like I said, many Nigerians are still, reacting to this. How do we see this? So far we've given this happening, all kinds of names, farmer herder clashes, whether they are remnants of Gaddafi men, whether they are this people or that people, and all of that. I really do not think any patriotic Nigerian would want something like this to continue. Hence the uproar, from all quarters. But what do you think about this recent development?
Well, to me, I feel that in the heart and the soul of this country called Nigeria is being touched. I feel that the unfortunate things are happening, and it's festering because of impunity in the system. I've always said it that the problem of Nigeria is not that things are happening. Things will naturally happen. That's why we have government, that we have a society. When you have a society, it is bound to have a lot of happenstance, either positively or negatively happening. Well, how those that are saddled with the responsibilities to respond to those issues or to forestall them, from happening, how to respond to it are things that we have to be concerned about now. If you look at the issues of the problem around the cattle and the herders and farmers, it predates this government. It has been there for long. Way back, even when I was growing up, it has always been there. You have farmers, you have herders having clashes over grazing of crops. But there have been some ways in those days that we have been resolving them. Some of them, even through amicable resolution platforms, going as far as paying compensations when it happens. But what has happened of recent? That's why you can even see, you are talking about different dimensions, different permutations about who and what is even happening. Even from the presidency, the heart of government, the seat of government, they don't even know what to say. They don't have a consensus around what the problem is all about. You see the president, when he was at the United States with President Donald Trump, President Buhari said, we are having this because the remnants of Gaddafi from Libya, they were infiltrating this country. You have a Minister of Defense saying this is happening because of the enactment of anti-grazing laws in certain places. You have the president coming up yesterday to tell us that this is happening because some desperate politicians they were playing politics
behind it, yeah.
But whatever it is, let's even assume that all these permutations by the president or by government, you are right. What is government doing? What is the president doing as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? The ones under whose the armed forces the police, every other paramilitary system that organization that we have in this country respond to. What are we doing? Are we going to wait until we have another? You can see now, the police is telling us 78. 86, sorry. But the natives were saying that, at the last time that they had 213. Aside from those that have not been accounted for. It means that it is a national tragedy that any serious-minded government should rise up and steer their conscience to feel that, no, what can we do? To me, that it is happening all over again. You can see now, it is only maybe because of the volume that is involved in this one. That's why it's making headlines. Even our conscience is getting deadened to it, that we don't even feel that things are happening again.
Because we hear it almost every day.
Yes. We started with 75 lives in January. Between January and now, today is supposed to be 26th or so of June. 26. How many have we arrested? Either on the side of others that were killing, or on the side of farmers that were reprising, or they were retaliating. You have Miyati Allah that was saying that, this thing that happened was because of 300 cows that were killed. My sister, it is very, very wrong for you to kill anybody's business, to kill cows or to kill anybody. They are living beings too. But the truth is that when those things happen, what legitimate steps were taken to readdress, to seek redress? Is it any time that we kill cow that we have to be slaughtering ourselves? Have we seen pictures of children, pregnant women that have been slaughtered and killed as if we don't have conscience again? Nigeria is reputed to be a godly nation, a religious nation. But we don't see the God in us. So to me, either the police authorities, either the federal government, it shouldn't be at the point of happenings that we are now doing window dressing. Whatever we do today cannot bring the lives of those that have been lost. If we are thinking about 2019, if we are thinking about whatever we are thinking about, I think even our law is very, very clear that the safety of life and property is the primary responsibility of government. Any government that cannot guarantee life and property may not have any business doing it.
Our lives cannot be all about 2019. I mean, if it comes and there is no single Nigerian to vote, I wonder what will happen.
Yes, that's why I'm picking holes in what the president said, that this thing cannot just be about desperate politicians. If you are saying that it's about desperate politicians, fine, it means they have intelligence. If the president has such intelligence as the leader of the nation, then what's the president doing about it? What's the federal government doing about it? What's the Department of State Services doing about it? Why don't you go after those desperate politicians that are getting people killed every day? It is alarming. If I were the president, I should be looking at other things. People are actually making some recommendations. Say, Mr. President, look inside of your cabinet. Look inside of your security architecture. Some people are saying that we don't even trust these people that you have here. If they don't trust it, why is it? Is there anybody that is indispensable in this country?
I don't think.
God forbid, if anything happens to the president today, we have had it in the past. Late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua died, and the same day, I think, former President Goodluck Jonathan was sworn in. If people are pointing at the same thing that is costing the lives of your citizens, I think the president, as the leader of the nation, as somebody that is touched indeed, should be looking at that direction, that maybe if these people don't have confidence in these people again, let me look for alternatives. Perhaps. So that is why people are saying that, we had cows killed, I think, in Taraba State or something like that. 5 youths were hurriedly taken to the court. There have been a sentence against them that they should be killed. Christian Association of Nigeria was writing the president last week that, no, put this thing aside now. For how long are we going to be going the citizen rights circle on impunity? It is happening because there's impunity in the land. And if the president is saying that I'm not corrupt, corruption is not just about when you steal money. When you look away when wrongs are done, you are also corrupt. And I've said it that, corruption is not just people taking away from government. Corruption is also government taking away from people. Part of what you take away from people is their security. Is their right to livelihood. Is their right to life itself. When we are having humongous killings going into 200 and something, You know what it means? We just played the country, I think, on Friday. Iceland. Iceland is a country of less than 400,000 people. Take 200 people away from that community. You know what it means? So we should get down and be serious about governance. Everything should not be politicized. Everything should not just be looked at the angle of APC, PDP, and whatever. Nigeria must work. Good governance is what the Nigerian people have trusted this government to come and do. I remember that in 2014-2015, people trusted President Muhammadu Buhari to come and stop, among other things, killings in this land. Boko Haram everywhere. Almost every day you wake up with everything, and what you hear is killings in numbers. But now, the president, or let me say the government has solved the problem of Boko Haram to an extent. Let me say largely, to an extent. But now we have a more deadly, monstrous development that is and
I think so far it's been allowed to continue to progress, because if now we are talking about, let me say, an unconfirmed figure of over 200,
yes,
then it really is bad. Now, as a way of responding to this happening, the Nigerian Air Force said it has deployed a Mi-35P combat helicopter and an intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft to Plateau, which was almost, I think, I don't know the figure, the number. I think it's about the same thing that was also deployed to Benue and Taraba states. We read that just yesterday too. These are always reactive responses.
Yes.
We know the volatile areas. We know, areas where these things always happen. Why always allow for it to get to this point? Now, earlier you did ask, by clearly stating that it is wrong for anybody to take any person's source of livelihood. I mean, talking about killing cows and all of that. But then what did they do? Now, we have those who are directly affected by this, those who own the cattle. They have their own settlements. They have their own chiefs. We have these other villages now where it's been burnt down and many people have been killed. They also have their own chiefs and all of that. In what way can these people from the grassroots also help to contain this even before we get to the present? But at this point, though, it has gotten to the present because it really is on a large scale at this point. But what would have been done from the grassroots?
Let me tell you something. I think from the beginning, I made mention of something that is touching at the soul of the country. The truth is that today, we have structures, naturally, we have natural structure that could handle maybe matters like this. You have the Fulani settlement almost everywhere. I lived in Cross River State for almost about 6 years. I know that when we want to do anything that has to do with, maybe want something that has to do with another thing, we go to a settlement we call Gugubiri. Gugubiri has its chief, it has its elders. If there's anything, I remember there was a crisis that was supposed to erupt around that time that the government immediately had to deploy a security agency to go and secure that area, But the problem today is that there is mutual distrust within the system. There is mutual distrust between the problem and the system. Somebody said that, see, when these people were killing us, I watched it on television, an eyewitness said, when these people were killing us, we saw later military men that were escorting cattle out of the community.
Wow.
What that translates to as a layman to me is that even these people we are talking about, they do not even trust, they don't have absolute trust in the security operatives that were even on the ground.
Yeah.
You remember the allegation of General Tiwa Danjuma? He said these people, there are angles to this. That's why I see that government should be more sensitive. Yes. But if somebody is saying that, see, security agencies are colluding with certain people to carry out genocide, that's a very, very strong indictment, allegation. Genocide against our people. The military came out with a report and said, no, it didn't happen. The military wouldn't have said that it happened. I can't be a judge in my own case. But the truth is that, yes, we have local structure that could do that, maybe through the chiefs, maybe through the locals. But see, if we have entrenched distrust between, or among the people, it's not even only among the people. If it is going as far as getting to, security agencies, it means
they're supposed to be neutral.
Yeah, they're supposed to be neutral. And if people feel that these people are not neutral again, it means that people will now resort to self-help. And self-help, me and you know,
there's
that
chaos.
it leads us to anarchy. But the truth is that if the soul of a nation is getting touched, if I'm a father and I see my house going up on fire, I should be able to sit down and say, what can I do? I think it is high time now. We bring back, I think the first thing we should do is just to ask Mr. President, all the security agencies, it can't even be the president now, the president is far above. But everything that we are talking about now, stop at his desk. Everybody will be talking about Buhari's administration. They won't talk about IG, Idris, whatever, whoever later. But the truth is that these killers are not ghosts. These killers are known in these societies. If these killers are actually coming from neighboring countries, there are people that are supposed to be in charge of those borders. Yes, I know that we have almost about 4,000 porous and unmanned borders in this country. But even at that, when we get inside, I will say that we can't even account for ourselves. I remember at the inception of this administration, the Kaduna State governor said that, I stopped the cases of farmer herders at that time by compensating people. Who are those people that he compensated? They are not Nigerians. It means that somebody can actually have a network of connection with these people. If there must be a reconciliation, but before reconciliation, you don't go into society, the community, and kill over 200 people, and you are not talking about outright reconciliation. No, there should be an angle that the law must take its place. When there's impunity, you embolden the aggressors to keep doing what he's doing. Presidents or the government must rise up. Make sure that those that are killed are brought to justice first. It is in the process of getting them to justice that you deter others. It is in that time that you can't talk about reconciliation. If you kill my father and you kill my mother, what kind of patriotism do you expect from me to the nation? What kind of loyalty do you expect from me? That is where the government is supposed to be looking at. Then all this deployment of arms, helicopter, whatever, we have always known our flashpoints in this country. We know where our problems are. They are not new. There's a proximity between Kaduna and the Plateau State. There's a place where they join and things like that. I used to pass through that place once in a while. We know, government is aware. Why is it always that it's only afterthought effect that we take? Why are we always responsible? Why can't we be proactive at once? Then, whether one life, whether 1 million lives, every life is sacred. We can't bring back whoever that has been killed. And if we continue this way, it is dangerous. And the way out of that danger, I think, a lot of people have been saying it, let Nigerians come back to a table. There's distrust. When Jonathan was there as president, it was South against the rest of Nigeria. When this president is there, whether it is true or not, it is Fulani people against Nigeria. Perception matters. And the only way you can stop that, and you can stem it, is that let Nigerians come to a round table. We are brothers. We have existed for almost more than 100 years now, from 1914. Then going forward, why can't we come together and say, these are the things that make me to be marginalized, or to feel marginalized as an Ijaw man, as an Yoruba man, as a Kanuri man. Let's have his rest of belonging. Let Nigerians see themselves as Nigerians. We don't see Nigeria. If you go out now, you see, there are times when I meet people, because they don't know, I don't write where I come from on my They'll be speaking one language to me until
you say, no, you don't understand.
I don't understand what you are saying. But I have to say it politely so that you don't feel, embittered by how I react to you. You see, those are the places where we have to go back to. We have to trace our step back to. The Nigerianness in us. Go to Rwanda today in Kigali, the country that just came out of genocide. You dare not go to that place and say whether you are Hutu or whatever there. It's a crime. You tell them that I'm a Rwandan. That's the law in that country today. You see, if we have to go that level that we have to collapse ourselves into Nigeria, if after 100 years we don't have a Nigeria, it's a shame. And if President Muhammadu Buhari has had the courage that he recently did with June 12th, bringing back the injustice of those days and address it, I think that president can as well have that kind of courage again and say, the way I'm seeing Nigeria, at my age, may God grant him more life. I don't think that the president can live another 100 years. But at my age, there's something that I've seen that is fundamentally wrong with this country. I should be able to do something as a legacy. I should be able to rally all Nigerians together. If that's the only legacy that's going to give to Nigeria, I'm sure Nigerians are going to be happy. And That's why you see some associations, some groups are saying that, see, we may not get out of this problem until we structure Nigeria.
That is something we also would like to talk about in a moment, though. But stay with us. We will continue this conversation after this break.
Welcome, my dear friends.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. Give me 101.1 effort.
This is to inform the general public that the activities of scavengers, also known as Babambola, is prohibited within the Federal Capital City. Their activities are henceforth restricted to the area councils. Residents of the Federal Capital City are advised to be vigilant and report any suspicious activities to law enforcement agencies. Together, we can make Abuja the city of our dreams.
èyí ni láti kéde pé ojúṣe àwọn sagolo sapáànù tí a mọ̀ sí Babambola ti dókun nílùú Àbújá àti ìjọba àbílẹ̀ mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà bí ọwọ́ sìnkún àwọn agbófinró bá wá bá ẹnikẹ́ni nínú wọn yóò fi ojú ba ilé ẹjọ́ o. ẹ̀yin olùgbé Àbújá ẹ yára tètè tẹ́tí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tẹ́ bá rí ẹnikẹ́ni tí ń yọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀dà tí kò tẹ̀lé òfin tó sì ń sagolo tí ń sapáànù ẹ tètè fi tó àwọn agbófinró létí. àjọṣe wa ni o láti mú kí olú ìlú yìí dùn ún wò kí ó sì dùn gbé pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn. ìkéde yìí wá láti iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba olú ìlú yìí ìyẹn Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Awidna akugna aza vien kisinege tuntun aza mbatun aya una vidankulu na kobege Babambola atela chebaje ukisinde unkoyin tinyakola ka hae abatutun kola pojin inara kansi vien ba lo mutna ekisinde ozana wa sasatu vidankulu wotna aba wa api aga otata agna akisinda mbasaselo ge balaweka na zaipia da na azalaba saselo kinsinege balawepi na ja zaipia bakara na bana banwa ba tabashiba agabatata na wode ya mi kinsinne ko na ba agwa abeji I would never embark me new city here atutni jina pokoge Federal Capital Territory Administration.
udu mmiri ebidola a na-adọ ọhaneze aka na ntị ka ha gbochie ma kwụsị akparamagwa ga-ebute mmiri ọdụdọ na mbuze dịka iwufu ahịhịa n'ime mmiri na-asọ asọ ya na ịtụnye ihe n'ime gota. a na-emekwa ka ị mara na iwu ụlọ n'ebe na-ekwesịghị dịka ụzọ mmiri nwere ike ịkpata ịtụfu ndụ ndị mmadụ n'efu ya na ihe nweta ndị mmadụ ịla n'iyi mee ihe kwesịrị dị mma. ọ bụ Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA na-ezitara gị ozi a.
A yayin da damuna ta fara kankama, an shawarci al'umma da su guji bata muhalli wanda ke iya jawo ambaliya. Zub da shara ba kan gado shine makasudin babbar ambaliya a birnin tarayya Abuja. Saboda haka kar ku zub da sharar ku a magudanan ruwa. Bugu da ƙari, an shawarci al'umma da su kiyaye yin gine-ginen gidaje a hanyoyin ruwa wanda yin haka kan iya jawo rusan da zai laƙume rayukan al'umma da dukiyoyinsu a lokacin damuna. A koda yaushe ku kasance mai yin abin da yake daidai. Wannan sako na zo muku ne daga hukumar birnin tarayya FCTA.
kéku ló gbọ́ kó yá àwí fún toko kádùn ó gbọ́ kúrò fún ọbẹ̀ pé ìjọba olú ìlú yìí fi àsìkò ìran gbogbo olùgbé ìlú yìí ní etí o pé ìjọba kò fi àyè gba àwọn ọkọ̀ tí kò dára kẹ̀kẹ́ nàpẹ́ẹ̀bù ọ̀kadà alùpùpù àti àwọn ọmọbìnrin tí ń ṣiṣẹ́ ìgbélépawó ìyẹn àwọn aṣẹ́wó nínú ìlú Àbújá o mọ́ gbàgbé pé àwọn amúnisínkù ìjọba ń bẹ láàrin ìlú bí ọwọ́ wọn bá bà ọ́ ajẹ́pọ̀ orugi oyin nìyẹn o káwí fún ni ká gbọ́ ìlú yọmọ adarí irun ṣèbí ká sọ̀rọ̀ fún ni ká gbà ní yọmọ ẹ̀dá èèyàn gbọ́ ohun tí ìjọba olú ìlú yìí sọ fún gbogbo wa kí ìlú Àbújá kí ó lè dùn ún wò kí ó lè dùn ún gbé fún gbogbo wa dídára olú ìlú yìí àjọṣe wa ni o jẹ́ kí èmi àti ẹ jẹ́ olùgbé rere. ji ohere a echetara ndị bi isi obodo anyị bụ Abuja mkpa ọ dị idobe iwu tụmadị ka o si gbasata okporo ụzọ n'ebe obibi na-ezighị ezi. Biko mara na enyela otu task force nke minista hibere ikike ịhụ na iwu nke mechibidoro adịgboroja ụgbọala ọbụla eji arachapịọm pụtara ihe. Ha ga-ahụkwa na akwụsịrị kpamkpam iji ọgbatumtum maọbụ ị na-aga ebugharị ndị mmadụ n'isi obodo anyị bụ Abuja. Otu a ga-ahụkwa na ha gbochiri ndị keke ma mawapụtakwara ha ebe ha ga na-agba na mpaghara isi obodo anyị. Ha ga-ekpochapụkwa ndị akwụna na ụmụ mmekpa ahụ ndị ọzọ dịka ịtụ mgbere mmadụ, ire ọgwụ ike nakwa iwepụ ma kurie ebe obibi ọbụla na-ezighị ezi. Otu a ga-ahụ na ewepụrụ ọdụ ụgbọala na-ekwesịghị ekwesị n'isi obodo anyị. Biko ka anyị jikọọ n'aka ọnụ wulite FCT ka ọ dị ka anyị si chọọ ya. Ndị aka ga-akpara dara iwu ndị a ga-eji anya ha hụ ntị ha, bụrụ ezi nwa amaala, dobe iwu ala anyị.
Ana sanar da dukkanin al'ummar birnin tarayya Abuja da ku kasance masu bin dokoki sau da kafa, musamman ma ta fuskar dokokin hanyoyi da na kafa guraren kwana ba bisa ka'ida ba a birnin tarayya Abuja. A kuma sani cewa har yanzu dokan nan ta hana amfani da tsofaffin motoci a matsayin taxi, haka zalika kananan motocin bus da kwasta, tare da hana sana'ar acaba a cikin birnin tarayya Abuja. A kuma tabbatar da cewa an bi dokar sana'ar acaba a guraren da doka ta amince, tare da tabbatar da bin dokar hana karuwanci da yawon banza a birnin tarayya da sauran laifuka kamar tu'amali da miyagun kwayoyi, kafa tashoshin motoci ba bisa ka'ida ba da dai sauran laifuka iri daban-daban. Hakika duk wanda aka kama ya karya doka za a hukunta shi. Mu haɗa hannu domin gina birnin tarayya Abuja a matsayin alfaharinmu.
As the rainy season begins, the general public is hereby advised to avoid environmental practices that could cause flooding. Indiscriminate waste disposal has remained a major factor causing flooding in the FCT. Do not throw your garbage into gutters and drainages along waterways. Residents are also advised to avoid building houses around natural waterways, as this could also lead to loss of lives and property during the rainy season.
Do the right thing. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory, FCTA.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti mọ̀ wípé àsìkò òjò la wà, èyí ni láti sọ fún gbogbo ènìyàn láti yàgò fún ìwà ìdọ̀tí, dídà ìdọ̀tí síbi tí ò bójúmu tí ó lè fa omíyalé, àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Dídà ìdọ̀tí síbi tí ò bójúmu tàbí òpópónà sì jẹ́ ohun kan gbòógì tí ó ń ṣokùnfà omíyalé, àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù ní ìlú Àbújá. Ẹ má ṣe da ìdọ̀tí sínú gọ́tà tàbí ọ̀nà tí ìjọba ti pèsè sílẹ̀ fún omi láti gbà kọjá. A tún fi àsìkò yìí sọ fún gbogbo olùgbé FCT Àbújá láti rí dájú wípé wọn ò kọ́ ilé sí ọ̀nà tí omi ń gbà kọjá. Èyí lè ṣe okùnfà pípàdánù ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀mí tàbí pípàdánù ohun ìní ní àsìkò òjò. Ẹ ṣe ohun tó tọ́. Ìkéde yìí wá láti àjọ FCTA, Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Welcome, my dear friends.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. Give me 101.1 effort.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Media Lab continues on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I've been speaking with Remi Adebayo from Temple Online. All right. So before we went on that break, you mentioned something about restructuring, and that's I read a headline earlier that where the president was saying that those who are rooting for restructuring have their own selfish agenda. Now, over time, there's been this huge talk about it, and it kind of restructuring is a word now that has so many different meanings to different people, depending on where you're coming from. But how do you think that, at least Nigeria as one people can come together and come to a consensus on that? And how can it help Nigeria, really, if it can?
Really, I think it's going to help Nigeria. When the idea of restructuring was introduced, it came with a lot of misconceptions, a lot of ideologies, We have the Southwest people talking about regionalism. We have somebody like elder statesman of the former, I don't know what I should call him, yes, he is, the former Nigerian military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, saying that what it means is the evolution of powers. We have a lot of people. To some, it is how to butcher Nigeria, just let everybody go their own way. But to a lot of patriotic Nigerians, I think the idea of federalism that they are asking for, it didn't just start today. If you remember that for long in the Southwest, they have been asking for what they call true federalism for long, which is also a semblance of restructuring. In the South-South, during I think when we returned to civil rule, it was resource control. They are saying that no, you can't be having this amount, and we that you are taking our resources from here do not have enough, then that is not okay by us. It went as far as having a negotiation with the then President Olusegun Obasanjo that later got them 13% derivation, you know. But to me, restructuring of Nigeria means that there is a structure. We already have a platform. There is a melting point already, but that point is not comfortable. It means that we have always been speaking about the three dominant ethnic groups in Nigeria: the Hausa, the Yorubas, the Igbos. But the centers, aside from those central areas, when I was growing up, I wouldn't even know that. If you are anytime that you are not from the major Yoruba states, you are either Hausa or Igbo. I didn't know that
I think for many of us, that's how we also grew up. You know,
we didn't know that we have the Efiks, we have the Bibios, we have the Kanuris, we have the Jukuns, we have all of them.
Yeah.
We have more than 250 ethnic nationalities with separate, unique identities in this country. Now, if not for accidental discharge, that I will call it, that brought former President Goodluck Jonathan into power, if you want to put the cards on the table, I don't think any ethnic minority will find it easy to penetrate into the central among these three dominant nationalities. And it's a factor. When you believe that you are a citizen in a country and you are not even a first citizen in your own country, go to Borno State, in Abuja here, and different states of the country where we have IDPs. You wonder why Nigerians are refugees in their own country. In a peacetime, we are not under the siege of a foreign domination by any country at war with us. So now, why do we come to this level? We have to discover why we are coming from here. Why did we have Boko Haram? Why did you why are we not having killer herdsmen? Why do we have on that escalating data or rate or statistics of unemployment? My sister, the reason is because we have so much over concentration on the federal government. Local government in Nigeria is as good as dead. The states that are not insolvent now, which are just about 3 or 4, all of the rest have to look up to Abuja at the end of every month to get their means of livelihood. Why? Because of a concentration of powers and resources at the mercy of states. When this administration came on board, one of what the president wanted to do was to diversify the economy. And in doing that, he was looking at agriculture and looking at solid minerals. And you can see what the former minister of solid minerals, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who is now contesting Ekiti State, did in that level. But there was no significant cooperation from states. And the reason is because resource control, mines and everything, they are still under the exclusive list in legislation. States don't have control over their mineral resources. Even if they are mined, it's still going to be at the mercy of the federal government that they are going to get whatever they want to get. And now they have to start agitating and negotiating again for what's going to be our, allocation. these are what we are talking about when we are talking about resource control. Now, restructuring.
Okay.
Now, let us look at it again now. We have a federal government that has how many ministries now? I don't even know how many ministries we have now. And the number of ministry, departments, and agencies, MDAs. See, I've asked people that what is the business of the federal government in water resources? What is government doing with roads? Why can't we decentralize our government, devolve more powers to the states, and get the local government that is supposed to be the closest to the government to be functional, autonomous, and working? What do we have today? It's even better at the federal level, where you have a stronger legislative, whether you like it or not. In states, the houses of assembly are just in the pockets of the governors. You wonder why we have not been able to see through with the autonomy for local government since then. So it's going to take a restructuring of Nigeria to look at these issues, to look at this you think they are minor, they are not minor. Most times you talk about corruption, we look at the federal government. What about the states? Who is monitoring what is happening in the state? It is not, people are not monitoring because they believe that the resources, the chunk of the resources go to the
federal government. Yeah.
So nobody's looking at what is happening at the state. And in fact, what is the local government? What are they doing? They only pay salaries, nothing. I have a local government chairman that told me that, see, I don't have more than 500,000 approval limit, powers. If he needs 501,000 naira, he has to go through the commissioner of local government in my state. So those are the things we are talking about. Except you bring government closer to the people. That is when you can stimulate income. That's when you can stimulate job. That's why you have to think about bringing hoodlums out of the streets. I have gone through the northern state a bit. It's even better in the south in a way. If you go to the north, you see an army of young Nigerians that wake up in the morning and do not know what they want to do. So if anybody entices them with anything, they will go for it, crime or no crime. If your government has not found a way to cater for you, to have a way of eating at least one meal a day, and you now have a criminal that is coming to you and offering you, they will go for it.
That's sad. I wish we had more time for this conversation, but we have to make way for infomercial and then subsequently the news at 12 noon. But it's been a delight speaking with you, Remi Adebayo from Tempo Online.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to having you another time as well. Okay, that's it on Media Lab today. Many apologies for our inability to pick your calls. You may have thoughts about some of these issues we've looked at, but God willing, we'll do this again tomorrow, same time on Human Rights Radio. In the meantime, let's make way for infomercial, and of course at 12 noon, it will be time for the news. I am Ruth Usman. Stay with us.
Human Rights Radio.
The best place to sell your goods. We're done a pure water. We're done a course. We're done a properties. We there for you. Information for Human Rights Radio. Information for Human Rights Radio. 101.1 FM.
My better people when did this Abuja? If una check una time una go see na time for that una ogbonge program where they carry una market, where they sell una